and welcome to the SBN Newscast, a bi-weekly show where we run down the latest news and events from across the SBN community, as well as interview some members and friends. Usually I'd be joined by my co-host Kendra, but she's on a well-deserved holiday, so this week you're stuck with me. Now, before we hear from our guests, let's get stuck into some of the news that's been going on in the last couple of weeks. SBN Ambassador in Houston, Justin Hoffman, was the author of the Daily Business article this week as he discussed how offshore technologists are embracing the energy transition more than ever, but they need a holistic approach to reach their potential. SBN Chair Russell Dalgleish has continued his training as he gets ready to run the London Marathon in October. You can follow his progress and also see the great work he's doing to support the charity Borderline on the Virgin Money page. Head of SBN US, Ian Houston, was in the Cornwall and Voice newspapers last week as he discussed the upcoming climate conference. Good cop, better cop. Can we make the 26th edition historic? Ainsley Hamill was across the country last week as she officially launched her album, Not Just Shipland. She had live gigs in Campbelltown. She's got a live gig coming up in London, but the audiovisual masterpiece was in Govan, where she performed in front of a live string orchestra last weekend. The SBN podcast series released its first of a new style of episode as we look at some of the key sectors in the Scottish economy. We're better to start than with whisky, and this fascinating discussion between Fraser Allen and Blair Bowman as they look at whisky's impact on Scotland and the world. Just search Scottish Business Network wherever you get your podcast to listen to the latest episodes. Tom Thomas continued his weekly updates from India, which you can see on the SBN website every Friday afternoon, because he gets new additions to us each week. This week features stories about the growth of the Indian economy, progress in free trade agreements with the UK, and a new manufacturing hub for e-scooters. Andrew Morrison had 2 busy weeks of LinkedIn Live interviews. Last week, the attention was on architecture as he spoke to SBN member Rich Tinto about what architecture looks like in 2020 and beyond. And then this week, the conversation was shifted to hybrid physical and in-person events as he spoke to Ruby Sweeney. You can catch both those interviews in the links below this, but you can also just connect with Andrew on LinkedIn to find him on his profile. Anna White's American Dream continued this week as Scotland Shop announced that Albany, New York is going to be the head of the US operations. You can read about why they chose Albany and also why this American dream is a dream come true on their terrific blog series on the Scotland Shop website. 2 SBN friends have come together for a research project on the Scottish private sector's attitude and perceptions of doing business with Africa. Africa Scotland Business Network and the University of Stirling are looking for people in the energy, education and training, technology and agriculture sectors to complete their quick survey in order to compile some robust data. If you want to help them out, use the link below in this video. South of Scotland Enterprise announced today that they're hosting their first International and Innovation Conference on September 16th. They're aiming to bring business leaders and investors from around the world to join the debate on how they can stimulate innovation and entrepreneurialism in the Borders, Dumfries and Galloway. We also had some exciting announcements from us about the future of our events. From September to December this year, we're going to be hosting a variety of events, some familiar and some new, in ways that will be accessible to as many members as possible. We'll be doing this by hosting virtual events, physical events, and hybrid events. Virtual events will continue to be hosted on an online platform like Zoom and will connect all members online. Our physical events are going to take place in one location, recreating the face-to-face networking that we've all missed so much over the last 18 months. And our hybrid events are going to bring people together in person in multiple regional locations and online via Zoom to truly bring our global community together and make meaningful connections. These hybrid events will be hosted at a central London location and regional locations, usually member offices. Cloud Cover IT will be hosting our first members and speakers in Glasgow at our first hybrid event on the 21st of September. Some upcoming events to look out for are our physical gathering in London on September 7th next week. That's going to have a drinks reception, networking, and a keynote speech from Liz Barclay, the UK Small Business Commissioner. Our first hybrid event is on September 21st. We're being hosted simultaneously in London, Glasgow, and online. And this event sees the return of the SBN Masterclass this month with Ian Anderson, followed by 3 members sharing their ask. And September 22nd, we host Leadership Conversations, a virtual event looking at digital well-being and creating digital culture, hosted by the SBN Coaching Forum, which hosted events at the start of the year, and we're delighted to have them back. We've got 14 events at the time of recording, confirmed for the rest of the year. Going forward, everybody can see the full details about how to RSVP and what's happening on the events page of our website. Just go to sbn.scot/events. Now, one of our biggest occasions of the year is Scottish International Week. We're delighted to announce that SIW21 will run from November 2nd to the 9th this year, so we can focus on COP26. Now, our guests today are going to talk about this because it was at the SIW21 official launch. We spoke to Russell Dalgleish from SBN, Bernard Pollock of Food Tank, and Gavin Tweedy from Net Zero Nation at the Edinburgh Fringe show We Came to Dance.
That was fantastic. We've just been to see a performance of We Came to Dance, which was just so enthusiastically taken by the audience. Everyone was engaged. The critical subject was climate change. And I'm here today to talk about the launch of Scottish International Week, which we're moving from our usual slot in September to November, so that we can coincide with the COP26, the UN Summit on Climate Change in Glasgow. Scottish International Week's become a central part of the business community in Scotland. This will be the first year we've delivered Scottish International Week. Last year we had 67 events delivered across the world. We've had 10,000 people who either took part live or have watched the recorded content. This year we're going to have a strong focus on climate change, of course. We're going to be delivering physical events in Glasgow and across Scotland from the 2nd to the 9th of November, and we're going to be joined by our ambassadors across the world. They are going to, from Los Angeles to Auckland, from Dubai to La Paz in Bolivia, we're going to be having events with Scots in those regions talking about what Scotland means to them and how we can build more business connectivity. But what we're also going to do is, I'm delighted to announce, we're going to partner with Global Entrepreneur Network, and we're going to run a Voice of the Entrepreneur programme, where we're going to reach out to entrepreneurs around the world. We're going to capture what they are working on climate change, and then we're going to broadcast that during the 2nd to the 9th of November. So I hope you'll join us. We're looking for more partners to get involved. Thank you.
Bernard Pollock was our next speaker at the event as the co-founder of Food Tank, a non-profit think tank in the US, and they discussed how they used the Edinburgh Fringe to help spread awareness of how the little changes that everyday people have made can be the driving force to influence the world leaders this November. We can all make little small changes in our lives, but the massive corporations and governments need to lead the way.
Hey everybody, Food Tank created this new musical, We Came to Dance, for the 2021 Fringe Festival because we thought it was so important to bring in young voices and the performing arts community to help us in solving the climate crisis ahead of the UN Climate Conference coming to Glasgow at the beginning of November. And we wanted to use this as an opportunity to bring together thousands of fringe goers to remind them of the little things that we can each do to help save the planet. Some of those things might be reducing the amount of food we waste. It could be eating seasonally or knowing your farmer, for example, going to farmers markets. It could mean, reducing your carbon footprint around travel and trying to, think about all these little steps that each of us take every day as a driver for then, tackling kind of the larger issues as the world leaders gather here in Scotland this fall.
And finally, Gavin Tweedy, who's the chair of Net Zero Nation, formerly the Net Zero Scot community, joined us at the launch to discuss how they're helping the SME community mobilise to help decarbonise their businesses, but how that, most importantly, helps green the supply chains of some of the world's largest organisations.
So we're really proud of what we've achieved since January. We've mobilised over £1 billion in annual revenue to the UN Race to Zero, and what we've now created is an accelerator programme to help businesses start their journey to a low carbon future. Some companies it will take them 5 years, some companies it might take them 10 years, But the important thing that everyone starts their journey today, starting with that pledge to the Race to Zero. We've launched a green marketplace where you'll find access to the experts who can help you start to mobilise your pathway to net zero. And we've also created an accelerator programme to bring the tools and tricks and tips that will help businesses get to where they need to be. Everyone can follow their own personal journey to a low carbon future. So I'd like to invite you all to come along to the Net Zero Nation website and do get in touch with us. We're waiting and ready to help you on your journey. You'll reach us at the website, details are attached to this, and there's a group of experts looking to help you on your journey to reach a low carbon future, and see this as an opportunity to grow your business, be a leader in using climate action to take your business forward and making a difference. Thanks.
Well, massive thank you to Gavin, Russell and Bernard for their words at the SIW21 launch. As mentioned, Scottish International Week will run from November 2nd to November 9th, and you can keep an eye on the website, scottishinternationalweek.com, for updates on speakers, events, themes and more. And if you want to get more involved with the national and international attention that comes with COP26, then drop me a line. SBN have launched a new support service to help organisations get the most out of the global attention that the conference will attract. But for now, please share this video with your network so we can get the word out about the great things that are happening across the SBN global community, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.